comments from the dispatch?
Well, is this game special for you at all, being a Cincinnati guy?
Oh, certainly. We actually played Nippert. In Nippert, I think it was my either junior or senior year to open the season. So, especially, I mean, all my friends, everybody's calling me, asking me for tickets this week. I'm not gonna be able to give them that many, but no, yeah, certainly being from Cincinnati, everyone's gonna be watching even more than other weeks. So, yeah, it's gonna be fun.
They offer you? Did you seriously consider them?
I actually don't believe they did offer me. So, yeah, just never happened. So.
Drew, see me offline after this press conference. I've got some information for how your friends can get tickets for this game.
Yeah, not through me. I don't get.
No. We got it. Second row right, Tony from the Ozone.
Drew, what's the most important stat for you as a punter?
The net. We play a big role. Put a lot of emphasis on the net. A lot of guys look at the average, but we want 0 return yards. We gave up a couple last game, so kind of upset about that. But yeah, definitely the net. We want 0 return yards.
And how do you watch the stats of the rest of the punters in the Big Ten, in the nation? Do you pay attention to what other people are doing?
Not really early on. I'll see, kind of start hearing about it later in the season. Everybody's kind of up and down. And near the end of the season, you start seeing who's really coming out on top. I try to not look at it too much, just kind of focus on myself. So.
Front row right here, Austin from Letterman Row.
Drew, we know how important Terry McLaurin was in that gunner role last year. Is that a big loss for you? How those new guys filled in there?
Yeah, I mean, I love Terry. He was probably the best in the business, but it seems like every year we have another guy step up and fill that role. I think Chris Olave, he's going to be a really good one there. Isaiah Pryor, he was supposed to be his player of the week, 2 tackles on punt. Yeah, there's shoes there to be filled, but our guys are doing really well at it. So,
this might sound weird or stupid, I don't know, but do you have to develop chemistry with gunners the same way a quarterback would with receivers?
Oh, certainly, yeah, especially like later in the game, if you need like a big punt, just be able to reach to them on the sideline as they're running out there, like, hey, I really need you here. You know, I don't care if you're tired, man. We got to get this one. So, definitely building that in the off season, going through workouts together. You know, kind of every now and then poking out, like, hey, I need you this year. So.
Front row left, Doug from Cleveland.com.
Along the lines of the gunners, like, how curious are you sort of each year, like, well, who are the gunners? Again, people tracking that. You talk about net, I mean, like, you know,
Yeah,
that's a big deal.
That's a big part of them, and they bailed me out last game for sure. My hang time wasn't where I wanted it at all. They were running down there really, really good. But yeah, I mean, a couple of them were there last year, like Cam Brown, Chris Olave even came in a couple. Jeff Okuda, he made a lot of big plays as a gunner last year. So yeah, you see him. You kind of know who's going to be your gunners. Ones who have done it and ones who think can be really good at it. So.
What do you think of the idea? You know, Terry's a 3rd-round pick in the NFL. Okuda might be a 1st-round pick someday. Yeah. Devin Smith was a gunner here. He was a 2nd.
Denzel Ward.
Denzel, like, they put some talented dudes at gunner here. What does a punter think of that?
That means a lot. I mean, they would say it all the time. We put our best athletes on special teams. So we put emphasis on that premium place on coverage, and we're going to have our best athletes running down the field and causing that fair catch. So, I mean, it just gives you a lot of confidence when you see those guys on the outside, knowing if you hit a low hang time punt, they're still going to be right in their face. So it takes a lot of pressure off me.
And final questions over here, unless there's anyone else. Front row right, Tim from Letterman Row.
Yeah, Drew, growing up, how many of your friends were Ohio State fans? How many of them were fans of UC? I mean, percentage-wise, et cetera?
I remember when I started to get recruited by Ohio State, a lot of them were pushing for Ohio State. A lot of Buckeye fans at the high school I went. But I'm sure there's just as many Cincinnati fans. I guess I never really talked to Cincinnati, so yeah. I wasn't really in one of my top 3 when I started narrowing it down, so I wasn't sure. But just being in that area, I'm sure there was a lot of them. So.
Yeah, what kind of esteem is Cincinnati football held in down there? I mean, from growing, you know what I mean, from your vantage point.
I remember when I was getting recruited, I didn't hear too much about them, but now that I'm kind of in the whole college football scene and hearing about a lot of my buddies who are playing on their team now and guys who have come here, went to Cincinnati, are playing there now too. Just following them all on social media. I mean, they're a good team, and I mean, they're going to bring it. So.
How much do you think, those guys that you know who went there to play, et cetera, and how much does this game, you think, mean to them from your,
It's
because you're a
big.
player, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's Battle of Ohio, really. I mean, they're going to come up here and try to take us out for sure. And I mean, look at Coach Fickle, he was here. So there's definitely a little bit of a little rivalry here. So I'm excited to see kind of what that looks like.
And one of the things, you kind of remind me of a golfer, because you have to have like a wedge, a 3-wood, a driver. On the kick down to the 4 on Saturday, did you finally get to use your driver? I mean, you know what I mean? What does it feel like to kind of let one unleash one, I guess?
Yeah. I really just tried to boot that one. I finally saw some field in front of myself, so I just really let it rip, didn't try to take any off of it. And it was more of a driver, and the guy did have to back up a little bit. Probably I wanted a higher, lower distance, but ended up driving that one. And I think Chris Olave was like a couple yards away from getting that ball around the 4.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely tried to drive that one a little more since I saw some field, got a little excited.
What gives you the most satisfaction? Finally getting to pull the driver out? Or, you know what I mean? Or just, where do you get your most satisfaction as a punter?
I think just pinning them inside the 10. That's what I really strive for. As close as I can get them to the goal line, I know our defense is going to stop them, and we'll get the ball back around midfield. And that's just the plan to win right there. Just playing downhill all the time. So anytime I can get them pinned back and on their heels, that's when I love it. So.
Far left, Lori from WTVN.
I say this half in jest, but what sort of screening process do the people who get tickets for you have to go through? Because as Tim alluded to, there's a lot of Cincinnati fans in the Cincinnati area, and you probably don't want to bring people in here who are only rooting for OSU when you punt, right?
I don't know if the screening process, it's pretty extensive, I know. They call them and check their backgrounds and everything, but I'm sure my buddies from high school just want some tickets, just want to see me play, so I don't think there's any shadiness going on there.
But you're going to make sure that they're not like wearing Bearcats gear when they come here.
Oh yeah. At least red and black. Scarlet and gray. Close enough.
And last questions, third row left, Dan from 11 Warriors.
Drew, I know there were some conversations about whether Matt Barnes would coach from a field or coach from the box, and he ended up coaching from the box on Saturday. Just from your perspective, what's that communication like between him and your other coaches when he's up there and you're on the field?
Yeah, Coach Fleming's on the field. We kind of deal a lot directly with him during the game. He's right there in our ear all the time right after the punt and everything, kind of giving us feedback. So we didn't really have to talk to him as much because they're communicating. And so we kind of communicate through Coach Fleming to him. So he's a great asset right there on the field, so we don't have to go on the telephone and call him whatnot. So,
Great. Drew, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thanks, Drew.
Wow.